Mud and Blood plays Coriolis. This is episode 5 of our ongoing campaign, Fear and Loathing in the Third Horizon. I'm Matt, your GM, and I'm joined, as always, by our 3 players.
Hello, I'm Adam. I play Kalia, captain of the One for Sorrow and Chemical Casualty, a journalist by trade.
I am Charlotte. I play Luna, the one-time shuttle surfer.
And I'm Nathan, playing Xanaphar Il-Kadif, and he's a germaphobe and the ship engineer.
Okay, so we finished our last session with the 3 of you back on board the One for Sorrow, deciding not to retrieve torpedoes from the pirate ship that attacked you. There was one boarder that tried to make his way on to the ship. You managed to kill him before he got very far onto your ship. And we finished it with Kalia noticing some strange script scrawled in blood on the walls, and you have no idea how it got there.
I notice things like that. I'm a journalist.
Indeed. So you're all 3 now on the ship. Kalia, you've summoned everybody to the ship, and that's where we left it last time. So we'll pick up right there. All 3 of you on the bridge. I'm
pacing back and forth anxiously for 30 seconds or so, just trying to get my words in order. And I turn to them. Something very strange is going on this ship.
I stopped to ask her if she has been taking any weird drugs again.
Don't change the subject.
It's a valid question.
I show Luna the picture I took on my tabula. I need you to look at this. I need you to be witness to this. So you see how there's no blood on my clothing or hands, or at least any more than there was when we were looting the guy. Look, there's no way I could have done this messy work.
Done what? I see nothing but a wall.
What?
I've got no idea what you're trying to show me. There's nothing there.
And Xanaphar takes off his exoshell helmet and maybe takes a couple strides over towards the 2 of them.
I shove the tabula in his face. It's like, you there, look, tell me what that says. Do you know this language?
The blood splatter on the wall?
That's right.
What blood splatter on the wall? I see nothing there.
This is called gaslighting, Luna, and it's not cool.
I suppose that could be writing. Did you write that?
I've just told you I couldn't have done in the time. I went to get a mop. When I came back, this was there. That script on the wall in the blood of that carcass we just jettisoned into space.
Hey, Matt, about how many characters? Like, is it like a whole sentence or 2, or is it just like a word?
I'd say there's probably about a dozen characters.
So does it legitimately look like writing and not just like blood splatter?
So I guess to Kalia's eye, Kalia's been around a lot. She's done a lot of translation work. She's also probably the most educated of everyone, having gone through journalist school.
Not necessarily the wisest for all that.
She will recognize that it looks similar to an existing script, the Miri language.
And how does it look to Xanaphar then?
Xanaphar is from the Dabaron Circle. You wouldn't have any reason to have learned Miri. So to you, maybe you've seen something. It might look vaguely familiar. Maybe you've come across something written in that language before, but you would have never been able to learn it, never been able to read it.
So then it would go without saying that I've never come across something like that.
No, absolutely not.
Because I'm just screwing around with Kalia.
Oh, yeah, just a bit of table talk. Does Luna really not see anything? Or she...
No, I see it. I'm just trying to screw with you.
Okay.
Kind of goes with the comments about taking too many drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Xanaphar is maybe slightly superstitious and paranoid, so he's going to try and play it off, I think, as being like blood splatter or blood smears. But if we really think it's something supernatural, it's going to freak him out.
Okay. Why don't you give me a wits roll then?
Okay.
And we'll say if you fail, you'll get 1 stress.
Okay. And
if
so
you get any successes, because you haven't seen it in the flesh. But yeah, since it would have potential to rattle you, we'll just.
I think he was viewing it through the HoloLens camera, and he's just trying to pretend like it's not there. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
All right. You want me to do just a straight wits roll?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
which I have 5, so 5 dice. And I have 0 successes.
Okay, so you take 1 stress damage, and it definitely does rattle you, regardless of whatever kind of you're trying to give off to other people.
He's a sensitive flower, is our Xanathar.
Yeah, well, he's looking at the tabula. He's like, wait, that can't be right. And so I'm assuming there's some sort of holographic display in the bridge.
What do you mean by holographic display?
Well, I think most of the terminals and things use like holographic, like 3D type of images.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Can he display the footage from the camera onto one of those terminals and kind of like view the corridor in 3D?
Could we just ask Kalina to take us there to show us?
But I could do that. You won't see anything differently than what I've got right here.
You need a holo camera to see to see a holo image, which I'm assuming it's not. You didn't leave it in the corridor. It's with you now.
No, I think it's in there with us. He was just going to review it in like 3D, and he definitely is going to refuse to go down there. He doesn't want to be that blood. In fact, even like looking at the footage, it kind of like triggers him, like just seeing the blood, and it reminds him that he like had killed the other person on the pirate ship, and he just kind of just starts like his. I guess he's still got kind of like some of his gear, like his breather on, but yeah, he's like visibly shaken.
Okay, Kalia, Luna.
Mm-hmm.
You've got everybody together.
I've told them what's up.
What do you want to do now?
But I'll to put a bow on it. Look, Icons as my witness. There is another person or persons using some kind of dampener to travel about the ship, unbeknownst to us. These are the facts.
I'd like to make a recommendation that we go make sure that everything is locked down in the stasis pod. One thing I need to do is to tend to my wound.
Yeah, sure. There's a med lab, so you can you go to the med lab to do that. It might be worth somebody else trying to see to your wound, but I'm not sure anybody else is trained in metacurgy.
Xanathar is trained in metacurgy.
Right, so you're probably the one who's going to be trying to patch her up, because we're going to have to roll for that.
Okay, so I'd like to make the comment that before I start painting more walls with my blood, I would like to get this patched up and point to my wound.
Don't fuck with me right now. I'm very much on the edge here.
I snicker a little bit and start to move to the doors, assuming that Xanathar is just going to come behind.
I'm at the edge of a precipice of a crossroads.
And what exactly is Kalia wanting us to do? Go back down there?
Well, I don't want you to go down there. I don't. I feel like we should stay together for now. I mean, if Luna's going to get patched up, we should go as a tight unit.
Okay, let's go.
Back to back, an armed triangle moving through the corridors. This is my desire.
Xanathar says, "Don't touch me."
Okay, Luna, if you're going to forge ahead, I'm going to I'm going to try and strong arm Xanathar into forming a triangle at your back.
Don't touch me either.
It's not necessary to touch.
So as they're getting ready to leave, Xanathar doubles back to the pilot console and picks up his grape rifle where he leaned it against the console and carries it back to the corridor towards the medbay.
Yep, okay.
Do we pass the bloody wall on the way to the medbay?
Nope. The med lab is close to the bridge. It's in the same section of the ship as the bridge.
Cool.
The only time you would need to cross that corridor would be if you're going to the cargo bay, either of the hangars or the reactor and graviton projectors, the engines of the ship. Everything else on the ship is forward of that corridor.
Oh, great. So Xanathar gets to go by it all the time.
Lucky boy.
The blood hasn't been mopped up. Just remind you of that.
Yeah. I'll conveniently forget that for now.
Okay, let's go to the med lab. You guys make it to the med lab in your kind of your protective triangle. You don't see anything. So when you get to the med lab, I guess Luna, you get up onto the bed that's there, and Xanathar, you use the tools in there to try and heal her.
Yeah, could you kind of describe the wound? I've already forgotten what caused the wounds.
Yep, she got shot by a Vulcan round.
While she was in her exoshell?
While she was in her exoshell, yeah.
All right, so she's now out of her exoshell in some kind of sort of suit that we're cutting away or removing.
I honestly can't remember where I got hit.
We didn't really say, so we'll just say that you got shot in the side, kind of. So it didn't hit any organs. I mean, there was no critical wound rolled, so It does require healing, but it's nothing major. It's not a critical.
Okay, so
wound.
he'll just examine for an entry and exit wound, and then use the tools to kind of like try and patch her up. And
Yep. So give me a metacurgy roll. Having a med lab, access to a med lab gives you a +3 to this roll.
okay, so 6 plus 3. All right, I have 1 success.
Okay, that means you can heal one of her hit points. So Luna, you took 3 damage. You can wipe that down to 2 damage.
Okay, that is done. So then I thank him, hop off the table, and then I make the suggestion again that we head down to the stasis lab just to make sure that everybody's buttoned down properly, because if somebody's doing shit, they would be the most likely culprits, I guess.
So Xanathar removes all the sterilization gloves and apron and mask that he had donned to treat her, and puts them in the incinerator. And then he goes to store his exoshell, and then he's going to return back to the bridge for the remainder of the journey, I think.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where are you going? What about the triangle? We had a good thing going here. We had a triangle.
Just let him go. Come with me to the stasis pods.
Okay. What's a two-sided triangle called? An angle.
As Xanathar says, he'll use the camera as the third part of the triangle for you, and he'll monitor you remotely.
No, I'm gonna say you're gonna need to plug that camera, and it's been running for quite a while. It needs a charge.
And he's going to take that to go plug it in.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's go. Angle of defense.
Just come on.
So Luna, you're striding nonchalantly over to the stasis bay, which is next to the med bay, and Kalia, you've got your new accelerator pistol, or do you have the Vulcan rifle out?
I've got the accelerator out.
Okay, you've got the kind of funky pistol out, twitchy, looking around.
Yeah, and I'm hype about this angle, though. I'm muttering, angle of death.
You don't see anything. You make it into the stasis bay, and I guess you want to do some checks?
No, I'd maybe just go from stasis pod to stasis pod, making sure they're all full. That's pretty much the extent of what I would be looking for.
You don't do that manually? Do you want to ask Jill to let you know if any have been opened? How much time do you want to spend?
I would do it manually, just because if a computer didn't see anybody writing in blood, then...
Yeah, okay. So you kind of do a quick walk past all the stasis beds. You filled every stasis bed in this room, and all of them have a person in them. So there's nobody missing.
I kind of shrug and point Clea off towards the bridge. I don't really want to spend too much more time at this point trying to figure out what the heck's going on. Even though I see it on the viewer, it doesn't creep me out too much. I mean, I've seen blood before, so...
Okay, so you head back to the bridge. Kalia, what are you going to be doing?
I am continuing to just moonwalk at her back. You know, I feel good about us all being on the bridge together until we sort this out.
Okay. You're properly twitchy, but you make it, again, successfully. You don't see anything, nothing happens. You make your way back to the bridge. And all 3 of you are back on the bridge now.
So when you come to the bridge, Xanathar is finally out of his exoshell, and the camera's nowhere to be seen, and he's relaxing in the pilot's chair. And for once, he doesn't have a mask on, so you can actually see his pale face, his hairless head, no eyebrows, nothing, and he's got a colored glass in hand, and he's been pouring himself some drinks.
Are you getting buzzed, bro?
Eh? What?
Whatever, just pour me some of that.
All right, and you'll see that he's actually got 2 other glasses over there as well, and an extra bottle.
You were sent by the icons.
Okay, you guys have a drink, and shall we pass time?
Can I ask Jill? Jill, what is our estimated time of arrival?
The planet of Jana is approximately 18 hours away.
Okay. My recommendation is we just hole up till then. We can survive, a little over half a day in each other's company, can we?
I'm going to bed soon.
Look, we'll doss down in here. We'll get some cushions. It'll be an old-fashioned slumber party. We'll swap stories. We'll talk about boys.
No, he has the right idea. I'm going to bed.
You guys all have shower units and stuff in your cabins as well, so yeah.
Showering is for the weak.
I think Xanathar just ends up passing out in the pilot's chair after another hour.
Okay, so Xanathar doesn't leave the bridge.
That's fine, as long as he's there.
Is Luna gonna stay on the bridge, or is Luna gonna clean up and go to bed?
I will clean up and go to bed.
Kalia, you gonna stay on the bridge?
I'll sleep at the foot of Xanathar's chair, but not after I call resentfully after Luna. This is not helping my abandonment issues. And I'm going to go up to where Xanathar is sleeping in the chair, and I'm going to, real sensitive like, I'm going to sort of stroke but not stroke him, sort of an inch over his flesh. It's just a tokenistic gesture.
It's a good thing he's passed out, or he would shoot you.
It's just you and me now, my beautiful baby blanket boy.
I think he kind of like snorts and kind of like twitches a little bit, but he's kind of passed out now.
Just you and me now.
Okay.
We don't need her. We don't need anyone. Cut to me snoring away on the floor.
Like curled up at Xanathar's feet, kind of.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Just while we're talking about resting, just wanted to make you all aware that the rules for recovery in the book are you recover 1 hit point and 1 mind point per hour when nothing's happening. But I'm going to be house ruling that slightly and say you recover 1 per period of rest.
Okay.
Just to make it a little bit more deadly. So, assuming you've had, 6 hours or more of sleep, then Xanathar, you're going to be able to wipe that stress that you had away.
All right, that's done.
And can I take one of my 2 off?
You can take one of your 2 off. Yep. And Luna will be able to recover 1 of her 2 remaining hit points.
And that is done.
Thank you, Space Daddy.
Okay. You're all asleep, and you don't know how long it's been before coming over the loudspeakers in the bridge. So Luna, you will not hear this. Jill's voice.
Alert, ship in proximity.
Ugh. To what?
I think Xanathar slept through it.
There is a ship within medium range, Captain.
What size? Class? Etc.
It is a Class 4 vessel, Captain.
What does that mean?
A class 4 ship is the same class as your own, so it's quite large, bulky.
Okay.
Just as you're kind of processing that and sort of rubbing your eyes blearily.
Mm.
Alert, Captain.
Mm?
Another ship within proximity.
Class?
Class 3, Captain.
Okay.
Alert, Captain. 2 more ships in proximity.
Well, wouldn't you know it?
Yeah, and what do you want to do?
Are they hailing us?
Not yet.
Well, just carry on.
I'm just kind of pausing the game here for a minute. So there's all these ships kind of popping up on your radar, so to speak, within reasonable proximity.
I mean, that seems reasonable if we're approaching a population center.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it's too much cause to be alarmed just yet.
And I think Xanathar is still kind of just snoozing in the pilot's chair unless you wake him up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that all those alerts haven't woken Xanathar.
Unless maybe it's like I'm getting like notifications vibrating on my like wrist computer or something. I think he might just sleep through them and be like super annoyed when he wakes up to find out that he wasn't woken again.
You do get hailed by one of the ships after a short moment. You're not sure which ship it is. And it's not actually audio. It comes through as a text, as a kind of text
message. A textual message.
It basically just tells you that this is a group of nomads. They're letting you know that they're not hostile, and asking if you're in any need of assistance.
Could I ask them to, would it be feasible for the more sophisticated of the ships to try and scan our ship for life signs?
You want one of the other ships to do a detailed sensor sweep of your own? Is that what you're asking?
Put that way, no, I don't.
Are you suspecting that the ship, your own ship, is not capable of detecting an additional life sign?
Well, it certainly has seemed that way, but no. I just want to send a response in the negatory.
All right. This is what's called a nomad swarm, which is how nomads tend to travel. They travel in big convoys like this.
Do they refer to themselves as a swarm? Because that seems to betray some self-esteem issues.
They do refer to themselves as a swarm, yes.
Man.
Okay, you reply in the negative that you don't need any help, and they pass on their way. Okay. Do you want to try and get some more sleep? It's been about, we'll say it's been about 6 hours. You could sleep a little bit longer. You could stay up if you wanted. You notice that Xanathar is still asleep.
I settle back in like a cat. Maybe I'll take off my coat and just quickly roll it up into a little pillow for myself.
All right. After a few more hours, Jill alerts all three of you that it is time to wake up. This is a pre-programmed thing that Jill does anytime any of you sleep. At a point no greater than 8 hours, she will attempt to wake you.
Okay, yeah, so Xanathar will wake up this time. He's going to be really annoyed when he sees the missed notifications of the Nomad Swarm.
Kalia's going to spring bolt upright to Kimada! They're killing the hostages! Bring the wine! Oh, and she sort of comes back to herself. That's a good night's sleep I had.
Does Kalia wear lipstick?
No.
Okay.
The default state is not being able to see her features due to her face mask and shades, which she pops back on.
Okay. And then at the sight of her doing that, then Xanathar is going to realize that he's not wearing his mask either. And yeah, he's going to run a hand over his bald head and then don his survival mask as usual.
Okay. Luna?
I'm just going to slowly get up and get changed and whatever other things I do after getting roused after 8 hours, and make my way to the bridge.
Okay. So Luna, you join them on the bridge, and you've basically got about half a dozen hours until you're going to be approaching Jana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything that any of you want to do before you get to Jana?
So the camera is recharged. I guess he'll probably service his grape rifle and make sure his exoshell is cleaned and everything's charged up. And he'll probably also do a final check of the reactor, a systems check, just make sure everything's functioning nominally.
I want to go and clean that bulkhead. Take a look at it quickly and actually wipe it down in case we have visitors. We don't need anybody seeing that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. You can go clean that. That's cleaned up. Kalia, you want to do anything specific before you get to Jana?
Just reflection. Quiet reflection. I'm hyped for Jana.
Yep, so about 8 hours later, Jana comes into the viewport. Starts off small and then gets bigger as you approach.
What does it look like?
Jana is an Earth-like planet, so it's got two big continents that kind of dominate the center of the planet. It looks beautiful, it looks blue and green from orbit, and there is a silver shimmering ring that circles it. And if any of you would have spent a little bit of time just having a look at the net to try and find any information on the planet, you'll find out that it's made of ice. This ring.
Hello there, you beautiful little sapphire. Are you going to make our fortune? Kalia says out the porthole.
While you're saying this, you notice something. You're kind of close enough now that you can see a fair amount of detail on the planet, and you can see from orbit that there are these kind of black marks on one particular continent. As the planet rotates a bit more and it comes closer into view, clearly to see from orbit, there are 9 points arranged in a kind of diamond.
Can I ask Jill what they are?
I do not know, Captain, but I can zoom in on them through the viewport.
Oh, it's such a privilege to have you around. Yes, please, zoom in on those.
Okay, so she is able to use the ship's sensors to get a closer view. And yeah, what you're looking at are quite clearly black monoliths or obelisks down on the planet below.
Foreboding.
Did any of you spend any time looking up Jana? Just even like a Wikipedia type article?
Yeah, Xanathar would have done some research.
So you would have seen a picture of the radiation spires, and that's basically what you're looking at.
So Xanathar is going to query Jill for the location of the research station. Is it in orbit, or is it on the planet's surface somewhere?
The research station is on the surface.
And then she gives you some coordinates.
All right, so he's going to plot that out and kind of pull it up on the viewport.
And the coordinates basically are right next to the radiation spires that you're looking at.
So he's going to put the ship into a stationary orbit on that side of the planet above that continent, and probably go start prepping the shuttle.
Yeah. So Luna, you have finished cleaning the corridor hours ago. Would you have been on the bridge as well?
Yeah, probably as we drew a little bit closer. I mean, I would have hit the workshop as well just to make sure I could finish what I started because that was interrupted. So yes, I was on the bridge.
Okay. So what do you want to do now? We'll say that Xanathar is able to get the shuttle prepped, and
he brought the camera too.
yeah, camera's fully charged.
Do we need to get any official permission to land or to orbit?
No, but you're in orbit right now. Nobody's actually spoken with you yet.
Is the one for Sorrow too large to dock on the planet?
Yeah. You don't have atmospheric entry.
So it's like a big space station in orbit, and then we're going to take a shuttle down to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Rightio.
Since these are like radiation spires, do we need our exosuits?
You don't know. They're called the radiation spires. Looking it up on the infonet, you would have found out that there is very little information about the spires. The information on the infonet is controlled by the consortium, and you would guess that there's, with a research station being down there, that maybe they don't want a lot of information to be made public. This is kind of not that unusual. So it's called the radiation spires, and that's kind of all that's said. You don't really know why.
Okay, I'll probably end up taking the chances of just standard clothing. I'll go and get geared up to get ready to board the ship or the shuttle.
By all means, you can take exoshells with you. That's fine. You can put there's space on the shuttles for them.
Yeah, Xanathar is actually going to wear his on the trip down.
Okay.
I will get mine stored aboard, but I will not equip it just yet. Just like the rifle, I'll leave the rifle in the shuttle, but on me I'll end up having that pistol and the new blade.
Okay. I think the assumption is just going to be you guys can take. You're going to have all the gear that's on your character sheet with you.
Lovely stuff.
We don't really need to confirm that all the time.
Cool.
The only thing I would say is there was a lot of loot with weapons and stuff last time. Clea, for example, you have very little strength. You have a strength of 2, which means you can't actually carry very much.
Would I be able to? I am able to carry my cricket in my carbine at the same time, right?
My recommendation would be to swap your Vulcan cricket with the accelerator pistol, because they're both pistols, and the accelerator pistol is much better.
Okay. Yep, I'll do that.
Yeah, I would recommend to her to leave the rifle behind.
Yeah, I don't think, touch wood, it's really assault rifle territory.
The face doesn't need to be ready for bear.
So Xanathar is in the pilot seat, and he's in his full exoshell strapped in, and he's going to do a final scan of the local weather when we enter the atmosphere, make sure not to fly through any storms. And as soon as they're kind of like loaded in, he's going to close the door to the shuttle, open the shuttle bay doors, and pilot our way on down to the research station.
Yep. Okay. There's nothing happening. There's no extreme weather reports or anything like that. Just as you're entering atmosphere, you get hailed on the shuttle comms.
Shuttle Gazetta, please identify your purpose in coming to Jana.
I tell him.
What do you tell him?
Our purpose in coming here is to meet someone who lives here.
You're tasked with going to meet somebody who's nervous about wanting to speak to somebody. So just bear that in mind, that you're meant to be subtle about this.
Okay.
Maybe, so Xanathar will say to the captain, maybe tell him that we're doing a story on these, and he kind of points out the viewport to the large black spires, and said, on the spires here.
I'll spin them a yarn about wanting to do a sort of regional news piece. A 2-camera bit on the radiation spires. Speak to one yokel about what an eyesore they are, and speak to one yokel about what a benefit they are to the community, etc., etc. Cut to the weather.
Okay. They ask you if you've made an appointment.
We're here very much to, just to speak to the regular Joe, as it were. So we're going to do all our field research once we get on the ground there.
The radiation spires are restricted. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to allow you to film without an authorized interview.
Okay. Interview with who?
We're going to have to ask you to change your course immediately.
Wait, sorry, interview with who, though?
You've just told me that you do not have an interview with anyone at the research station. Therefore, we're not going to allow you to land anywhere near it.
Okay.
Please make your way to Namas.
and Namas being the main city on the continent.
Is that very far away?
We'll say it's about probably like 100 kilometers away.
Okay. I think Xanathar is going to confirm the change in course, but he's still going to kind of like loop around the research center. Like, kind of like, maybe not like a buzzing, like a flyby, like really low to the ground or anything, but he doesn't really recognize their authority.
Okay. So you don't immediately change your course?
No, definitely not. He's kind of passive aggressive.
Okay. They don't hail you again, but nothing happens as you get a little bit closer and then you decide to change course. You are able to see the research station. It's about 12 to 15 kilometers from the closest radiation spire. There's a cluster of small buildings down there. You also notice as you get closer that there is a ring, basically a ring that goes all around the radiation spire of brown earth. So nothing is growing for it looks like about 10 kilometers all around the spires. And the research station is just outside of that ring. And then it kind of continues, everything's green kind of beyond that point.
Maybe we should do a feature on that, the Ring of Dirt. The famous Ring of Dirt.
Captain, shall we go to the city then, to Namas?
These bureaucrats haven't left us with a lot of choice. Set course for Namas.
All right, so we'll fly on over to Namas then.
Okay, there's a port there that you're able to dock at. You're at Namas.
What's it like?
As you're flying over Namas, you see that the buildings that look fairly nice are all painted in very colorful hues.
Mm-hmm.
However, more than half of the city, taking up one major side of the city, are industrial buildings, massive warehouses, refineries, that sort of thing. And you also can see as you're coming in that on the complete opposite side to the city as all the industrial buildings, there's a very large dome, like a glass dome.
Mm.
Is it like a geodesic dome, or is it like a solid sphere, or transparent?
I'm gonna say it's like a sphere. Yeah, it's partially transparent, and you can see plant life inside it.
Can I know, just from general background knowledge, what this destination is?
Yeah, you would have found this on the infonet. It's called the Dome, and it's a kind of botanical museum. They are billing themselves as the only botanical museum of the Third Horizon, and they're attempting to collect plant life from all across the Third Horizon.
Mm. Who among us is seeing to the Arboretum on our ship?
Me.
Do we know if we have any particularly rare samples, or is it all sort of fairly functional?
It'll basically be kitted out from plant life mainly from Dabaron,
Mm-hmm.
which is where the ship would have been built. So it's kind of a standard package that you would tend to find.
Oh, just common as muck, is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And I collect the rare stuff. I don't give them away.
Oh, you've got a sideline. A hobby, that is.
I'm not confirming nor denying that.
Very well. Well, can we arrange some sort of overland transport? I'd rather not get the bus to the research station.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess is the question. You've landed at the spaceport.
Can we hire a car?
You can hire ground transport. They'll have
Lovely.
kind of grav vehicles. You'll have to pay some money for that.
Mm.
But yeah, you could hire something.
Are there tours of the research station?
How are you gonna find that out? You gonna ask somebody?
Is there a Bureau of Tourism?
Not on Jana. Jana has a population, or this city has a population of about 50,000.
Maybe go into the local bazaar and see if there's some sort of like a local taxi driver kind of person that'll give us a tour, or any sort of offices for the research station. Do we have like a futuristic email address or any contact information for this researcher we're trying to find?
Yes, do we have any way to contact her?
No. Mm-mm. You've just been told that she sent a message to Ayan through a courier, and she wants to tell her story.
We've got to take a boots-on-the-ground approach to getting at her.
Or we make a scene and have her come to us.
Is that likely when she's so nervous? We might end up frightening her off.
Yeah, I want to go to the research station. Yeah, I think we find like a local like taxi driver, somebody in the local bazaar that kind of like take us out, kind of like a freewheeling like wheeler and dealer kind of guy.
Yeah, I would love to get into a situation where it is literally like the opening to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. We're all in a car, off our nuts, caning it down the highway in an anti-grav vehicle.
Okay. So do you want to actually hire like a taxi, or do you want to hire like a rental car, so to speak?
I think rent. We want to be in control of it, of the vehicle.
Are there any sort of local like tour guides, or I want kind of like maybe like a local to kind of show us around or something? It gives us an excuse to go
like
there
that.
as well, maybe. But I mean, it could just be the three of us going, but I don't know. Whatever. I'm not even sure what's available in the local bazaar.
Okay, you make your way to the bazaar, and you are able to find somebody who's offering transport, effectively like a taxi driver. When you ask to go to the radiation spire, he's immediately looks cagey. I can't take you to the spires. No. It's completely off limits. I can take you anywhere else, though.
How about to the research station?
The research station is effectively the same thing as going to the spires. It's completely off limits.
This is what I'm saying here. We should hire our vehicle.
Don't you have an uncle or a cousin that works there, maybe?
No.
You have failed your cousin generation role.
Look at me. I'm a first come. The people that work at the research station, they're all Zenithians. I don't have any family that works there. I'm a grab driver.
With him saying that, I step forward a little bit and talk to him along the lines of, as one first come to another, can you please help us out with this? It would mean a lot for us to be able to get there and talk to somebody. Basically trying to manipulate him.
I want to kiss up to him as well and say, I hate the Zenithians. I wish the hegemony would blow away like ashes. I don't know, analogy, failure, just general sympathy.
Okay. Luna, it's funny that you mentioned the word manipulation, or to manipulate him, because that's a skill which you're not particularly good at. So this is going to require a manipulation roll. So it's empathy plus manipulation. Luna, you would have a 2, a dice pool of 2. Do you actually want to try rolling that?
Yep.
He's also got a reputation of 2, so there'll be no modifiers to either of your rolls. So we'll do your roll first, and then we'll do, if we need to, then we could do Kalia's next.
Hit rolling 2D, and I have no successes.
Oh, shit.
Okay. This guy is a taxi driver, so he's got quite high empathy. And he's going to be good at manipulation, because that'll also be used to get people to pay higher fares and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to give him 5 dice to roll in total. Also no successes, but that's fine. You say your piece about, for it being, I'm a first come, you're a first come, that sort of thing. Trying to find common ground. And he just shrugs his shoulders and says, "Yeah, there's a lot of first come around, but I don't want to risk losing my job. I'm not allowed to go there."
Can I take a slightly different tack?
Yeah.
Can I lie and make out that we are on a secret mission, a secret journalistic mission to undermine the hated Zenithian hegemony? And by helping us, you help yourself and your family and your friends in the long term. Can't go into too many details. I'm sure you understand.
Okay.
Can I, because I'm lying, can I use, what was that noun?
It's still manipulation. Whatever you're trying to do, it's manipulation. If that's deceit with lying, if it's being charming, it's always manipulation.
I've got these edibles that give me a bonus to lying.
Okay, you want to take some Cambra. You want to take a dose of Cambra.
Cambra. I'd like to take a dose of Cambra to gain advantage on this roll, if possible.
Okay, so we'll say while Luna's kind of trying to convince this guy, you kind of sneakily take a dose of Cambra.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and give me your manipulation roll, which is going to be affected by that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a drug, so I guess you're snorting it. I mean, how are you going to take it?
Right up there.
Okay, straight into the brain.
Straight into the brain.
It gives you +1 to your manipulation.
I shout straight into the brain, but nobody has any context for why I've done that. So, how many am I rolling, please?
So you're rolling your manipulation is 3 plus empathy is 5, so that's 8. +1 for your Cambra dose is 9, and then you also get a +3 because your reputation is 3 higher than this guy's. So you have a pretty big dice pool to roll here. Okay.
Is that 12?
That's 12. Yeah.
5 successes.
And I rolled his, and I got 3. Yeah. So you've succeeded with 2 above, which is good. So you're going with the tack of being on a secret mission then, right?
Yeah.
You've triggered something in him that he starts looking around furtively.
Revolutionary spirit.
He's as you're saying it, you can see his head starting to nod. Okay. Yeah, if it means sticking the boot into these Zenithian scum, then I'm your man. Then he arranges to meet you in 10 minutes at a certain place, and he'll come pick you up. And we're going to stop there for this week. Thanks for listening to Mud and Blood Plays Coriolis. Our players can be found on Twitter. Adam is playing Kalia and has the handle Adam Attley, Attley. Charlotte is playing Luna and has the handle Foxfire22. That's fire spelled Fyre. Nathan is playing Xanathar and has the handle Script and Verse. Our intro and outro music is the track Valraven by Danish musician Danheim. Ambient music is from the Emmy Award-winning Tabletop Audio. Join us next week for the next installment of Fear and Loathing in the Third Horizon.